Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan and look at my son Jayson.
Hi, I'm Jayson, and this is my Sub-Zero cosplay. A blue shirt.
That is very subtle,
Yes.
Sub-Zero. That's minimalistic.
I realized that I don't have a Michael Jackson or Mortal Kombat shirt. I used to have a Michael Jackson shirt. I never had a Mortal Kombat shirt, so I just wore blue.
I should get you a Mortal Kombat shirt.
That would be great.
Because you've always been a big fan of that franchise.
I should get a shirt that has Stryker on it.
Oh, that'd be
He's
great.
my favorite. I don't know if there is
just
one.
throwing bombs.
Yeah, he's just like shooting.
We should get one of just the sprite. Like,
Yeah.
just throwing bombs. I know you were a little disappointed that Mortal Kombat 2, this movie, did not
have
include
him.
Stryker. We were sitting there waiting for it. We were like, I wonder, because they were starting to throw out, I don't know about you, I didn't look at a character list or cast list going in.
I didn't
I thought it'd be fun to just see who they threw at us. And
All
with
I knew
some
was
of the
they were-
characters we got, I was like, they totally could do that. It's totally possible.
All I knew was they had the chick with the fans. That's all I
Yeah.
knew. And
Katana.
I know you like her. a lot.
Yeah, she's always been my main. If I have a main, I'm no good at Mortal Kombat.
My main is Stryker. Stryker. Yeah. So.
Well, tonight, Jayson and I are going to review a very, likely obvious double feature in the biopic Michael, and which is of course about Michael Jackson, and the newly released Mortal Kombat II, which becomes Michael Kombat 2. And the main thing that connect these things for us is just that they are two of Jason's favorite properties, franchises, things.
Yeah.
From going back to childhood.
But it's also...
both things that hit you with the nostalgia rate really hard, but hit Jayson particularly because these are things that he's been a fan of since he was small.
Yeah. Well, it's also funny because I'm pretty rusty on both my knowledge of Mortal Kombat and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And I was realizing it while watching these movies. I'm like, I haven't interacted with either of these things in quite a while. And it's also interesting because, there's a lot of stuff on the channel even about with me and Michael Jackson and me and Mortal Kombat. Because there's a review out there, I think, of me having just seen the 95 movie for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I did Moonwalker.
I think we need a father and son on that, maybe.
I think so.
Oh, that's right. You came on for Rewind for Moonwalker? Because there is, in fact, a movie that counts for Superhero Rewind starring Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm. And it is the greatest movie of all time. And it has the greatest...
He turns into a freaking Megazord!
He turns into a Transformer. It's awesome. So, yeah, I mean...
I was totally disappointed that wasn't in this movie.
I know! Yeah. Well, I mean...
You didn't get anything about Moonwalker.
No.
You got a Moonwalk.
Yeah, right. They hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
That was 88. They stopped at 87. Anyway, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. We'll talk about that.
But yeah, so both of these things are things that are very dear to me. So I was excited. I was also, worried for both of them because, Mortal Kombat 2 is a sequel to a movie that I like a lot, but I know that it's flawed. It is... I mean, it's not a good movie, but...
I think it's lame as hell.
But it's fun. I don't know. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. I don't know what you want.
So, I'm in the camp of the 99.9% of people that... I say that. I've not talked to anybody that just really liked that 2021 movie.
Yeah.
And crazy, this is 5 years later.
Yeah.
Is this one of those movies that was just real delayed? That they, shot and it took them a while to finally get out? Because it's weird. It released... almost like a COVID movie to a COVID movie, as a sequel to a COVID movie.
Yeah.
And of course, we know that Michael was massively delayed.
Right.
For possibly the most, or at least one of the most historically crazy reshoots of all time. Mm-hmm. Where they had to completely restructure and retool that movie, and they lost their entire third act, and and not just the third act, but the structure of that movie.
Yep.
One of the most compromised things ever made and released.
So yeah, I was a bit worried. I was excited and worried because Mortal Kombat 2 is a sequel to a movie that nobody likes.
Except for you.
No, but like I know that it's bad.
You liked it ironically.
It's bad. So, but Michael, I was super excited for.
You know.
I know. You know. Come on. But with Michael, I was super excited for it, and then Rotten Tomatoes came out and gave it a 32, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be crap.
Gone all the way up to like a 38 or a 40 or something.
Yeah.
And then the audience score, and I know that a lot of things are polarized these days, and you get big discrepancies between your audience score and your critic score, but I mean, it was nuts. The audience score was like in the 90s.
It is, yeah, it's in the 90s. And it's...
Unlike that movie, which did not make it that far.
It's... You're correct. Right. And did you know that Michael Jackson only has 2 bad songs? Bad and Too Bad.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Those are his bad songs.
He might have some bad songs, but he's only got 2 songs about badness.
Right. Because Too Bad is also... That song actually is bad, in my opinion.
Did you ever think we'd be doing a stream where you're talking about Mortal Kombat and Michael Jackson simultaneously? Like, together?
Oh, that's so fun.
The other thing they have in common is that they both start with the letter M.
True. And I think... I mean, we can...
And Michael Jackson has been video games this week.
That's true.
Kind of alluded to, yeah.
We can go straight into the reviewing aspect of it, and I can say my big thing with that... where they have in common.
Yeah.
Which is they are both not movies.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this with Mario Galaxy movie, and I had the same thing with both of these movies.
And that does not... Now, I agree with him, and that does not necessarily denote the sign flip, which
no, it doesn't.
Might tell you how low my standards have dropped for a lot of new movies, but I gave the Mario Galaxy movie a green sign flip and completely recognized that it wasn't just a thin story, it basically didn't have one.
Right. Well, and
because plot does not equate to story, okay? And there's no character arc in that movie.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be how both of these movies are gonna be going in. Is they will be fun experiences, which we'll talk about if they were or not. This is pretty much with the sign flip. Are they good experiences? Not are they good movies?
Is it at least a fun roller coaster, a ride?
Right. And obviously we'll go into
spectacle, yeah.
But with Mortal Kombat 2, it is another video game movie, and it is basically just watching Mortal Kombat, but in live action. Like, you're just watching the Mortal Kombat gameplay, but in live action. That's all it is. And there's like enough story to make it pass as a movie, but like,
you read a plot synopsis and it sounds really complicated.
Yeah, because they had to make it work. But with the Michael Jackson movie, it's the exact same thing except with Michael Jackson songs. So
no, that's a terrific point.
I mean, you're just going from song to song, and then it's like, oh well, there's some story to make it a movie, but and we can talk about how
is there a narrative that's actually fueling those, or is the narrative kind of being strung along by the performances, kind of like the set pieces in not so great action films?
Also, when the story in Mortal Kombat 2 is more complicated than the story on the Michael Jackson biopic, what is happening? What is this universe that we're living in?
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
I know, I can go more in depth into that, but
absolutely.
Are we starting with Mortal Kombat 2?
I want to start with Mortal Kombat 2 because we didn't mention this, but we saw both of these over the weekend, and we saw them as a double feature, and I thought that was kind of a cool thing for your first double feature, because Jason's never, as far as we can remember, done this where we go to the theater and see 2 movies back to back. Literally walked out of one and walked right into the next one. Yep. Like the trailer started playing immediately, and they're like, again, 2 of your favorite things.
Yeah.
Maybe not the movies, but based on 2 of your favorite things, and you got to see them back to back on the same day, so that's kind of fun. So I wanted to start with Mortal Kombat 2. Okay. Because that's the first thing we saw, and that's just easier on my brain to go in the order I saw them.
Yeah.
Instead of having to backtrack.
Yeah, that is true. And, I think because Michael Jackson was like Because we went right into it. Michael Jackson, I have a better memory of, because it was the last thing we saw, and I have like I got more time to think on that one.
Some of that is likely to be because it's the last thing you saw, and some of that is likely to be because of the kind of movie Mortal Kombat 2 is.
That's true.
Because
that's
I think
totally
if
fair.
I'd seen them backwards, I would still remember the Michael Jackson movie better than the other. It's hard to know that for sure, but one of these is sticking with me a little bit better than the other one is, and I think a lot of that is because of what they are.
Yeah, definitely.
So you gave us a pretty good synopsis already
Of Mortal Kombat 2.
It's Mortal Kombat fights.
So basically, you remember those like logo thingies from the first movie? They just that doesn't exist anymore for some reason. And now they have chosen Johnny Cage to come into the Mortal Kombat fight. The tournament is
now
starting.
we're actually doing the tournament.
We're doing the
first
tournament.
movie is basically a prequel to this before this came out.
Yeah, and so it's all set up.
The director said that was intentional.
Really?
And I don't, can I say this real quick? I don't know if I love this as an idea, but I guess it kind of makes sense. It's just Mortal Kombat, even just the title, the premise, is a tournament.
Right.
So his idea was trilogy, where the first movie is before the tournament and the last movie is after the tournament. And my response to that is, okay, so 1/3 of your trilogy is Mortal Kombat. And then you have prequel and aftermath. Mm-hmm. It's very odd to me.
That is odd. Yeah. And I can, there's a thing with that I want to talk about a little bit. So basically they get Johnny Cage, and he's McCoy for some reason from the 2009 movies. And he's great.
Yeah, and he's not, and Carl Urban's having it feels like a blast in it. He's fun to watch. So I'm not throwing shade at, because he's quoting me from something we said off camera yesterday. I'm not throwing shade at him when I say he's just giving the McCoy performance, because it kind of works for what he's doing. But when Jason says it's McCoy, he doesn't just mean that actor. Mm-hmm. It's that performance.
Yeah, but
he's McCoy if he was a washed out action hero,
and if he could swear a lot
from the 90s, and that's now going to cons and nobody's paying attention to him.
Yeah,
which, by the way, was one of the most unrealistic things in the movie.
Yeah,
that guy goes to a comic convention, and like the social satire like works well enough. Everything in this is exaggerated, but like the fact that he's got no line whatsoever, and he was like, because they play him like he was massively huge in the 90s. So if he was like had sort of a cult following and was like sort of already like not taken seriously by the majority of people,
like a Power Ranger or something.
Yeah, or kind of like a B movie star or something. But they play it both ways, where he's, sorry, I don't mean to get in the weeds with this, but where he's like the Bruce Willis of that era or something, or more of, or I can't even say Bruce Willis. I guess more of like who's the guy from Under Siege?
That guy.
They kind of play him like him. But like if he showed up at a con, he would have a line.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
it made Jason go, I wish McCoy could have said the F word.
I know. Yeah, it was great.
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Yes, I love Under Siege. That is an incredible movie.
Yeah, thanks, Danvers. I got to it before you did, luckily. But yeah, Seagal. Go ahead.
So they choose the gods choose Johnny Cage for some reason. Because now it makes even less sense that people are getting chosen, because they don't even have the logos on them. They're like Mortal Kombat tattoos, which were stupid to begin with, but like...
I'm glad you... So Jason had not seen one and watched it
I watched
a couple days before we went to this, and I could not bring myself to watch it again because I disliked it so much. And so I walked into this, so we had very different experiences. I walked into this, 5 years I've not seen that movie. God, I can't believe it's been that long. Hoping that it was, that it like understood the mistakes of the first one and could kind of play like a bit of a soft reboot. And that's exactly what it does. when you say like it gets rid of the tattoos and stuff, it really cherry picks. Like it's a little bit like like Suicide Squad to the Suicide Squad, except those movies do feel less in a continuity than this does. Where this like remembers and uses a lot of the characters from the first movie, but some of them like finds ways to underutilize or write out pretty quick because it knows which ones the audience is not that interested in, and it knows which ones we are. And then some of the lore it kind of just throws out, and it feels like a much more like traditional classic Mortal Kombat thing. To my eye, like it feels like it really wants to, however well you think it accomplishes this, Jason, it feels like it really wants to update the 90s movie. Like it's looking at that in a way the first movie either thought it was too good for or just wanted to get away from to do its own thing.
See, I disagree because I had the same experience with the first movie that I did with the 90s movie.
Well, I don't even understand that, but okay.
Just because I think like it knows in the same way that the 90s movie did. It knows what it is, and it's not taking itself seriously, and it's just like it's pretending to take itself seriously and then say all these silly Mortal Kombat things, and I just think that's very funny. But real quick, can I say like the worst thing about that first movie?
Yeah.
So the whole thing with that movie is that you have the Mortal Kombat tattoo, and then you can get your powers, but they take a while to like get your power, and you know it took like the main character, like Cole or whatever the heck his name is.
Yeah.
It took him like 30 years to get his powers, right? And then Sonya kills the Australian guy, and then gets his tattoo, and then she gets powers right away. It's great. It's like, what is that? How did you do that?
I remember he died. Kano.
Yeah, Kano. Yeah.
I couldn't remember if that's how he died or not, but I remember he died.
Yeah.
Spoilers. He's back in this.
Yeah. He's great. I like him a lot. But okay, so then they fight. I'm not remembering any names of characters right now, so
we don't have to get real deep into story with this.
But they do Mortal Kombat, and there's a big bad, and then
Shao Kahn?
Yeah, Shao Kahn.
Yes.
Yep. I just couldn't remember his name.
Got it.
Yep. And
the guy with the skeleton, the big metal skeleton mask,
and that's
in the same year as Skeletor somehow.
That's the story. You got to get Johnny Cage, and then you got to do all the fights in a row, and then you got to fight Shao Kahn. You got and there's the amulet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
That I guess he had in the first movie, or did he actually have it?
Yes.
Because they play it like that MacGuffin
that goes
forward from the first movie. Yeah.
Honestly, I've watched like 4 movies since that movie. So yes, there you go. Do you want to do your sign flip first?
Yeah, I'll do it first.
I've been talking.
No, you're good. I wanted to like really give you the floor with these because these are some of your favorite things. You know a lot more about this stuff than I do.
You got Shao Kahn though. So.
I did. I'm so proud of myself. I thought Mortal Kombat 2 was a pretty gigantic step up from Mortal Kombat, which does not from the 2021 movie, which does not, of course, make it remotely flawless. I wanted to make like a flawless victory joke, but movie. That's is that Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
For a second, I thought that was Killer Instinct. What does Killer Instinct say?
No clue.
Supreme victory. That's Killer Instinct.
And in the first movie they say flawless victory.
Yeah. There's not enough of that stuff in this movie.
No.
Of like the announcer stuff.
It felt like they just did it all in the first movie.
Yeah.
Although, Scorpion says "get over here" again in this movie.
Yep.
And I always think it's really funny because
you got to have that. They know the fans will be upset if he doesn't say it.
But it's so funny because you would not ever expect that character to say that.
No, it's not at all appropriate for the way they characterize him in this.
Yeah, it's great.
He becomes a completely different character when his mask comes down.
He's like this like stone-faced like old Japanese man, and then and he's like super like chill but like creepy, and then he goes, "Get over here." I'm like, okay.
By the way, real quick, I forgot to say at the beginning, but as always, thanks for watching live if you're hanging out with us right now, and we will try to interact with you some as we go, and if there's anything in particular that you want to make sure that we tackle with either of these movies, leave us a super chat, and we'll make sure to hit those so you can help us direct the conversation, and we'll try to talk to you guys in the regular comments as well. Anyway.
That was a pretty good get over here.
Yeah, no, I like that. Well done.
Okay.
Like I said, I thought it was a step up. There's still really frustrating things about it to me, and I'll get into that. A lot of it's just structural, so I'm not going to dog on it too hard for not being more character driven than it is. I actually don't think that's the problem with it. It's totally fine for especially this kind of material to make a dumb action spectacle that's kind of thin on characterization. It is always nice to, especially if you're expecting anyone to be engaged with the material that's not already interested and doesn't already know the game material, where it's not just supplementary to that stuff, then you need characters that, or at least a character that can be your eyes in, that can help bring you into the world and get you acclimated to it, and somebody that you can get invested in. And I feel like Carl Urban's Johnny Cage has the absolute potential to be that guy and to do that. Mm-hmm. And I actually think what they do with him, especially in how he's initially established and what his motivation is, what he wants as a character, is pretty solid.
Yeah.
The way it's ultimately, he ultimately, like, achieves his goals and finds himself and all of that, gets really, really goofy even for this material. And I think it goes even too far for this. Like is even a little bit too exaggerated with this again, washed out actor who doesn't feel like his life has been worth anything, and even though he was this big famous action star 30 years ago, he feels like it was a waste of time and he threw his life away, and now this is his opportunity to find purpose. And he supposedly finds it kind of through his having had that experience as an action star, which somehow like gives him the ability to do the things he does here, and that all doesn't exactly wash for me. But I do really appreciate that it isn't just fight after fight after fight. I mean, like it is. It feels that way. But what I mean is, you could have easily had that and had like. My expectations with this and my standards are kind of at the bottom of the barrel, so hear me out with this. But it could have been like the Mario Galaxy movie, where there was nothing, like no characterization whatsoever. And you actually have kind of dual protagonists with this. I wish that their character arcs thematically had more to do with each other. Yeah. They're real splintered. They're kind of just doing their own thing. But you have your Katana and you have your Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cage's arc is about finding purpose, and Katana's arc is about finding strength to do what she thinks is the right thing. And there's a like loyalty question to family or to someone she's pledged her initial life to, which was a bad idea because he's horrible, because he's this bad guy that wants to rule the whole world, and he has a big skeleton face, so, you probably shouldn't pledge yourself to that guy.
Right.
So,
Skeletor.
There's at least kind of some human thing happening with those two characters. So the problem with it is that that's not all up front enough, and they pretend like by the end of the movie that that's been the whole movie. And the problem is it's constantly interrupted with fights from different characters that are even more. So when I say there's actually some human and character stuff with them, they are two-dimensional characters. Everybody else is a one-dimensional character. I'm not saying that anybody is even a three-dimensional character in this. That's that's how far they rise to the occasion story-wise. Okay, now again, that's what you come to this for, is just the big fun fight scenes. But and if it was in like the 90s movie is kind of like this, like if it was pretty much just that, but you could like really follow everything, and the story was actually as simple as the story really is, you know what I mean? Like they present it that way, then that's fine. We can kind of just enjoy the spectacle, and it can just be sort of a cookie cutter plot with a roller coaster ride. But the problem is, you have these two characters that actually have the potential to elevate it a bit, where it can become on like a video game story level, something like a like 2010's Tomb Raider or something. Sure. And even with this ridiculous goof of material, I think it could have risen to the occasion and done that. Yeah. So let me suggest real quick how I would have structured this differently. I think the whole thing should be from those two characters' perspective. You should be jumping back and forth the whole movie between your two protagonists, and everybody else should be supporting background characters that get their fun things to do, but are really just there to be fought in a tournament. And in that way, it should be structured more like a game. So, and I think this is just really natural for
player one and player two.
Yeah, your player one and your player two. And what you do is you have each of them going through this tournament, and they're fighting guys. And you structure it so you can actually follow the tournament itself. Put on the screen round one, round two, show us a bracket, do all of that, like in the actual movie, put it on screen.
That's what they kind of did.
They didn't, not really.
I mean, with like the fires.
That's not enough.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I get that, like that sort of tells you where you are in the tournament, but there are lots of fights where I'm not even sure if they count as part of the tournament or not.
I don't think that's the problem with this movie is, there are a lot of fights that just aren't even important.
I just feel like it could have been a lot simpler in that all the fights you have actually count as tournament fights. Yeah. Why not? They still could be in all of these cool different locations. And that they nailed. Like, all the arenas are awesome. Mm-hmm. And so, why don't you just go back and forth between them, and then the fans get to be excited about each new character that's introduced. You could maybe have a couple of little side quests, like what they did with Baraka.
Yeah.
You know, like, in stuff like that. That'd be okay. But then it would be clear that fight is not part of the tournament.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the big thing that I would have done to restructure this that instantly makes it more followable, and maybe makes it not wear thin on me like this did. Because my worst thing is that it's just half an hour too long. My big issue with this is I lose steam with it about halfway through. I was with it all the way, and then to about the halfway point, and then I just got sick of the constant, like, here's the next combat, here's the next combat, and I think it was just too many. So when I said it's not just fight after fight, I mean it is. I'm just saying they actually have a couple of characters that they try to do something with, and so I appreciate that.
So the doing the two characters, that's your best thing, or
I haven't gotten to my best thing yet. I did appreciate that about it.
Yeah.
And I thought they were both really well acted. Like, I like Katana in this a lot.
Katana's great.
No, the best thing, because this is a superficial movie, and the best thing has to be a superficial thing. Yeah. The best thing about it is production value, but specifically costumes. Yeah. Like I said, big step up from the first movie, like 9 steps up as far as production value. I remember that first movie feeling kind of cheap and kind of TV. This, I mean, they spent $80 million on this, and every dollar of that is on the screen. Yeah, and you can see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, wow. like they really went for it with this. The katana blades, like the fans, so freaking cool. So cool. They do everything they do in the games. Yep. It has like all the moves you'd want, the way it handles fatalities is really fun.
Yeah.
I love there's a bit where Johnny Cage gets kind of stunned and he's rocking back and forth on his heels.
Yeah, he's like
he's doing that like you do in a Mortal Kombat game. Like they went for it. They did all that stuff. But again, I would have gone further. I would have had the announcer voice. I don't think they used the Mortal Kombat theme enough.
I think they did, but
I didn't like that you would get that melody like every now and again in the score, but we didn't like full tilt give Johnny Cage a big fight with it. I
couldn't remember if they did or not.
They didn't.
Okay.
You get a place where it looks like they're going to do that. You get the start of it, and then they just go to basic score.
I see.
And
okay.
We do that with a lot of nostalgia stuff. It's that Power Rangers 2017 thing where you can go Power Rangers for 10 seconds and then it's back to the boring Brian Tyler score, whoever it was.
Yeah. Brian Tyler.
He does good work sometimes.
Yeah. But
anyway, so yeah, I mean, light green.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot better than the first one. I'm still not going to put it above the 90s movie.
No. Nothing can beat the 90s movie.
There's just a cheese factor with that really works, and this is almost, it's kind of trying a little too hard. And it's also way too talky. That's
sure.
like to be this much action with like 900 set pieces, and to be that wordy is weird.
Yeah. I think also the reason that I don't think you could ever beat the 90s Mortal Kombat movie is because what makes the 90s Mortal Kombat movie so fun is it's so 90s, and you just like,
and then
we can't really live in a time period that replaces that.
It's also hard to say what you would want from a thing like this because we already have that movie, and Mortal Kombat is like pretty 90s like as a thing in the first place. So I feel like they did the best they could to recapture that energy, but then it does feel a little redundant because they're not going to be able to beat that. And so, like, it's able to be a little bit more violent and, like, it's a rated R thing, so it can be harder edged. Yeah. But what I would maybe rather see is something that actually takes itself more seriously and is so like I said earlier, I don't want to complain that it's not super character driven because it doesn't want to be that. I'm trying to take it on its own terms, but I also don't want to say because it's Mortal Kombat you couldn't do that movie.
No, but
like have you seen that direct to video animated Scorpion movie?
No, I have not.
Or Scorpion. What am I?
I don't know.
What am I talking about? But yeah, they've done a couple of those that are. That take themselves a little bit more seriously than this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, like, there's stuff about it that's just naturally going to be kind of ridiculous.
Right. But I think it's a really good movie for adaptation of the new stuff. You know, taking what made the 90s Mortal Kombat movie so good and putting it to the newer Mortal Kombat games.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's what it does well, I think.
And you like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my sign flip.
Cool. So you kind of said my worst thing, so I'm gonna go with a different worst thing.
Sure.
My worst thing is there are no stakes.
Yeah. Right away you go, we can resurrect anybody we want to.
Yeah, so by the way, okay, so it just starts like we're just like resurrecting everybody for no reason. And then it's like, well, I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the first movie, my big problem with that movie is Scorpion just, like, shows up and he's like, I've returned from hell. And it's like, but, like, how, though? And then in this movie, they can just go to hell.
Yeah.
They can just go there. And
well, I guess it's just a dimension like anything else.
Sure, but, like, okay. So,
but it's like the games. You just show up at these really epic places.
But that means, like, anybody who dies is just, like, it's not that big of a deal. And they make a big point of that. And I don't like that.
You could have kind of told a story about that, though.
Yeah.
You know, where, like, you could have done something with we're seeing all these people get their spines ripped out and stuff, but it doesn't like really matter because they're all gonna be able to make it, and so I I don't know what exactly you do with that, but I feel like you could tell some kind of interesting, like, are we still human kind of story with that.
Sure.
Where it's like we're all just pawns in this game, and it, some kind of meta thing about like how everybody comes back in a video game.
Yeah.
And it's like you have, more than one life, or in a fighting game you can just start again and go back through again. And everyone becomes... You could even tell a story about how everybody's becoming numb and desensitized to all the violence. Mm-hmm. And then we have to return back to our regular lives where there are stakes again.
Mm-hmm. Thomas Lowe says, that's not unknown, that's hell. Captain Logan from Spawn Year.
I forgot I said that.
That's my favorite line.
Do you remember what that was in?
Yeah, it's in The Demon's Hand.
It's in the... Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the Dreamcast game.
So that's like my actual like worst thing is kind of what
in
you
that
said.
game. It's like they're censoring themselves, where they're not allowed to say the word hell, and then one of the characters you unlock is Hellspawn.
That's great. That's not unknown. That's hell.
That's hell.
So going back to Mortal Kombat, yes, it's a fight. It's just a bunch of fights, like non-stop fights, and that's not great. I would like them to do other things.
Did you get numb to it?
I kind of did. Now I will say
but it looks great.
Thinking back on it, I actually didn't. They just didn't do a very good job at setting up the Johnny Cage and Katana thing. But they did have them fight at like the very beginning of the movie to set it up.
That's what I was going to say with my idea. You get to the end and now they have to fight each other.
Yeah, but they already did.
Yeah, but that's what they should have done instead of the fight at the beginning. Or bookend with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like have them each go on their own journeys and they finally meet at the end.
Yeah.
And we have them do some kind of paralleling character arcs.
Yeah.
And maybe you do sort of like or maybe they like mirror each other rather than parallel. Mm-hmm. You've got the older guy, the middle-aged or older guy who is trying to find... It feels like he never had any purpose. He's trying to find his purpose. And then you have a younger, more coming-of-age story.
Yeah.
That is... Yes, I get that it's all about strength and what strength means. It can still have that. But that could be about purpose going another way, which is like, I'm expected to do this. I'm not designed, but like... She has a little bit of like a Thanos relationship. Mm-hmm. You pointed this out to me yesterday, and you're right about it.
Yeah.
With Shao Kahn, where it's like he's kind of like grooming her to be evil.
Yeah.
And she could go against that and be like, I this shouldn't be my purpose. I want a different purpose. Mm-hmm. And so like one's about having a horrible negative purpose. The other one is about just emptiness and like nothing.
Yeah.
But so I don't know, like if you really start stretching, you can kind of find some things in common with those arcs. But while I'm watching it, I'm like, what do these things have to do with each other?
Yeah.
Like none of that came out.
I do think unlike the Mario movies, this might be better on a second watch.
It might be.
It might be. It might not be.
I don't think the first one will be for you when you go back to it.
I don't know. It honestly might. I would like to do a double feature. I would like to watch both of them back to back. My other another thing that I want to say with worst things is I wish both movies, even though they came out 5 years apart, I wish they were one movie. I wish that it was the first act, the first half of the movie was putting all the characters together, and then the last half of the movie was the Mortal Kombat. And I know that that's just the 95 movie, but that is the best way to make a Mortal Kombat movie. And that's the biggest problem with the first movie is the 2021 one is that they just don't do anything at the end because there is no Mortal Kombat. And they're just like hoping that they make a sequel that is Mortal Kombat.
And luckily they did.
That
movie is almost more infuriating if you don't get this.
Yeah. It's probably like it. I think it is better now
because this got made.
This got made.
Well, and you could argue that with the two of them, you're not as bloated cast-wise, but I mean, there's still so many characters.
Yeah.
And everybody from the first movie shows up in this. It's not like we got some out of our system. Like, we bring them all back, and then, with some of them, we get rid of them quickly.
Yeah. I'm really sorry because I'm thinking about flipping green for this movie, and I'm saying all this bad stuff.
Well, what'd you like about it?
But I also just real quick think that nobody got anything to do, and I disagree with you on that. I wish they, especially I know that nobody likes his character, but the main character from the first movie could have gotten something to do.
I disagree. I don't think he even needed to show up in this at all.
Yeah, but if he was gonna show up at all, then he needs to do something.
I disagree.
He just dies.
I think so. Spoilers.
Yeah,
but
again, there are no stakes. I can say anything.
I was going to at some point say, okay, is there any major spoiler thing you want to mention? Because we've done a pretty good job being thorough, but not fully spoiling it.
Yeah, well, my best thing is kind of a spoiler thing, so.
Well, we'll just say full spoilers at this point then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'm in the camp, and I know a lot of people felt this way, that that main character for the first movie was like, you took the lamest, forgotten, nobody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, made him the main character, except it's even worse than that because they made him up.
You're right.
And I don't understand why they did that. You have all these characters, you still don't get in even some of our favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm wrong about my best thing. My best thing is Baraka. Oh my god, he's great.
You really liked him, yeah.
Yeah. And he looks really good.
Yeah. So, my best thing is...
And that should have been lame. Sorry, because of what they do with him and Johnny Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And again, spoilers, he kind of ends up just, worshiping Johnny Cage by the end. And they make this whole joke out of, at first he's trying to kill him because he finds him irritating. And they have this big, giant fight. And then Johnny Cage, finally finds himself in that fight. And then he's hilariously, ridiculously able to beat Baraka. Where, somehow... somehow
believe in yourself. You can do flips.
Somehow believing in himself makes him more limber as a 50-something-year-old man who's flipping all over the place. I realize it's Mortal Kombat. It's ridiculous, but I mean that was a bridge too far for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like Baraka got his pun intended. I didn't feel like he got his teeth taken away. He was still scary.
Yeah.
He just, but the joke was funny.
Yeah,
I don't know, that all actually kind of worked for me. Ultimately,
know Carl Urban could flip like that.
I don't think he can. I think he had a stunt double. He maybe did one or two of those. I don't know.
I don't know. But
I don't think he's flipping like that.
I need proof that he is actually being the one flipping, because that would be pretty cool. So I have two best things unless I come up with more.
Sure.
My my first best thing is all of the stages that they take from the Mortal Kombat games. They're spot on.
Yeah.
They're awesome, and they're done really well.
The spike floor,
and then the outer dimension thingy from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
So cool.
And the other best thing is kind of a spoiler thing is Noob Saibot. I mean, he's just so cool in the games because he's just a the whole thing with Mortal Kombat is everybody has a skin of everybody, and so they just make him the Sub-Zero and the Scorpion skin, but he's just a black outline, and it's so cool.
Well, and then I think when he originally came in the earlier games, he was I forget what character, but it wasn't Sub-Zero. It was somebody else that came back as him.
It is Sub-Zero.
And no, I think Sub-Zero's later. Or what I read was that was the thing they did way later. And early on, he was a different character.
So Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 has 8. So there are 2 Sub-Zeros. There's a Sub-Zero, and then there's a older Sub-Zero. and then I think the older Sub-Zero becomes Noob Saibot.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure. And then there's also a newer Sub-Zero that it just takes the role of Sub-Zero. But he looks so good in this movie, and I'm like, yes. It's awesome. I think the best thing about this movie is the fan service, even though I normally like, but that's what it's meant for.
Yeah.
And they just do it really well, so I don't know.
I just think you could blend it better.
Sure. And yeah, I do wish they said more Kombat-y things, because they did in the first movie, but not as much in this.
They don't actually say Noob Saibot. Was that kind of sad?
No, no, that was fine for me.
Because anybody that doesn't know what that is would just be like, he's got a different costume now. All right, like,
I know.
Why is that a big deal?
I wish that they got all of the characters that have the skins that have the same skin as Scorpion Sub-Zero, and you get the red one, and you get Rain.
Yes,
because I love Rain. He's one of my favorite characters in Mortal Kombat 1, and
just make fun of all the palette swaps.
It's interesting because in the first movie they do,
but in like a real epic way.
They do the lizard guy.
Oh yeah,
but he's just a lizard. Like, he doesn't have that suit. And he dies very easily, which is like sad because he's like one of the best characters in the game. But anyway, I digress. So I'm gonna flip green for the character, the green Mortal Kombat character that wasn't even in this movie. Yeah.
I can't believe that we both flipped green on the Mortal Kombat sequel, because I despised that first movie.
I think I liked this movie better than you two, even.
Yeah, I think you did.
I had such a fun time with it. Yeah, I mean, you could see me in the other seat going like, yes.
Well, and I lost interest in it. Like I said, about midway through, and you weren't having that.
See,
and I came back around on it a little bit with all the katana stuff in the third act. And then it loses me again when it goes to the really sappy voiceover stuff at the end. That got kind of awful.
Oh, it's so good. I also didn't need.
Everybody's gonna have to draw their line wherever they're gonna draw it. This becomes a real subjective thing, because I don't mean to talk out of both sides of my face when I'm like praising the thing for like owning its cheese factor, but then also complaining it's too cheesy. I mean, you can take things too far,
right?
You know what I mean? And I do think that there are some places where I took it too far.
Yeah,
but I think Street Fighter's gonna come out and it's gonna wipe the floor with this as far as cheese factor goes.
It is totally good. Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, it's that movie is likely to like really lead with it.
Yeah.
Like even more so than this does.
Yeah. And so the thing with this movie is,
I still can't believe those are both coming out the same year.
And like very close to each other.
And then you get Masters of the Universe in the same year.
Yeah.
It's such a weird
Just a
year.
lot of like 90s cheese factor.
80s and 90s, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you man, it's 80s. It's funny because you fell off, like, you know, around third act, and I fell off at the beginning, and then I had to get back up.
Yeah, I was more with it at the start.
I was not with it at the start, because I was like, you are just taking me right into this Mortal Kombat, and I'm like...
That's exactly what I was hoping they would do.
I was not expecting
Well,
that.
I didn't want a bunch of rehash of the first movie. We already did all that.
I know, but I was like, I had to get in the mood for it, because I don't know what I was in the mood for, but, well, we were going to see Michael Jackson first, and then we ended up seeing Mortal Kombat, so
yeah.
I had to get in the mood for it.
Real quick, we'll answer this super chat, and then we'll go on to the other movie.
Yeah.
But Jayson, I also don't know what the point was of doing the like traditional hero's journey thing, and that's ultimately what I wanted this movie to be more of. By the way, with those two protagonists, and especially Johnny Cage, we have Sonya, and maybe Jax was there too. I can't remember. He's great, by the way.
He's so good. So he gets nothing to do.
Jimmy Olsen from Supergirl, I think, is who that is, and he's great, and he gets some really funny lines in this. But anyway, they go to Johnny Cage, and they say, "You've been selected to be a fighter in this cosmic tournament, even though you're this washed-out 50-year-old actor. But I guess the universe knows that you're gonna tap into these special powers at the ripe old age of 52 or whatever." But anyway, and they go, "You've got to come with us for this tournament to fight for Earthrealm." And at first he doesn't believe them, and then they prove it to him. Raiden's there, and Raiden does the lightning. He's like, "How'd you do that?" And
and Raiden is just Zordon in this movie. It's
yes,
great.
he's Zordon for the '95 movie. The way he gets taken out and he's incapacitated, and he's laying flat, and everybody's worried about him. He's just like Zordon. Anyway, and it's all coming back to me. And then he goes, "Well, no, I'm still not interested. I'm lame and pathetic, and I can't help you, and I'm gonna be awful at this." And so he goes to a bar, and he's mean to a fan, and then he just gets sucked up and has to do it anyway. I thought that was kind of odd. Yeah. It's like, why do they come to you to try to get you to do it if you're just gonna have to do it anyway? Yeah. What was the point of that?
They were
It seemed like the story wanted that beat, but the plot didn't need it. Yeah. And I feel like that's the best way to describe this. It is that like it's so plotty that sometimes the plot is kind of at odds with what it wants to do as more of like a real story. Mm-hmm. And so that's irritating. Yeah. But I just thought that was really funny. It's like, oh, you get sucked up, now you just got to do it anyway. It's like, do they not know that's how it works? Yeah. Like, why did they have to go to him? Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, this super chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
$5 from Pros and Cons Guy. Resurrecting Kano for the amulet was pointless. They could have checked his body for it. Yep.
Well, that's a good point.
Why
do they bring him back to life?
They say that in the movie. They're like, well, why'd we even wake him up?
But then there's no answer.
No, there's not.
Really? So that doesn't cover it. I guess they did it just because they figured the fans would want to.
We're going to be talking about that a lot in this Michael Jackson movie, too.
Mm-hmm.
Where they just, like, say things because to get, but...
Because that's supposed to be there. You're supposed to say that.
Right. Yes, that is true. Okay, anything else for this Mortal Kombat movie?
Let me read a couple comments here. Deanna vs. Street Fighter looks like it's leaning on the meme factor. That's true, and I am a little bit worried that takes over and it's like too much of a farce, and it's too much.
Hopefully it's not like the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, it
might be.
And
like
I
that.
didn't see that, but from what you guys have told me about that movie, it could be kind of like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but may as well have seen it.
But where it's not just fan service; it's like internet fan service.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spetty Veskew, Jayson and Cap. The movie seems to be on its way to underperforming. How well do you feel this movie works as the ending of this version of the franchise? I would be fine with that. I mean, somebody said, and maybe it was you. I noticed this earlier, that it has enough of a wrap up. Where it's not like the first movie where that whole thing. That first movie is X-Men, man. Like, it's just a setup for the real movie.
Yeah.
And this does not have that, and there's I don't know, do you think there's even very much sequel bait at all? There's nothing like that.
No, I mean,
there's this character that's coming. Now, I don't think we stayed to the end. I don't know if there was an after credits.
There's not.
Okay.
I looked it up. Now there is the hat guy that became a bad guy and then his brother was like,
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna rescue you someday. That was like the only sequel bait.
There was that. Yeah, that was really funny too. Well, it wasn't I'm gonna rescue. It's again, there's no stakes, so it's like
know.
I'm sure there's a way to bring you back to life.
Yeah.
I'm going to. He goes. I'm going to find a way to resurrect you, but not today. And then he just eviscerates. And what's hilarious is it's his brother, and he feels really bad about it, and it's the absolute most over the top violent kill in the entire movie.
It's the second.
He's got his spinning blade hat on the ground,
Yeah,
and then he dupes him into falling on it.
Yeah.
And it just goes right through his midsection.
Yeah, it's the second worst thing.
Look, you guys, this is the substance of the movie, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
What was the worst?
The freaking fans through his face?
Oh,
what do you mean?
I forgot you mean like when it cuts it into 4 sections?
Yeah. It was awesome.
But it's great that your big bad guy gets the most gruesome death. Mm-hmm. Like that's what you want.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, that was pretty great.
Okay, $2 from Senior Sticks. Hello, Senior Sticks. I haven't seen you this stream. I recall the fight game movies better as anime. I think Mortal Kombat is maybe the one exception where it maybe works better as live action. I don't know if you agree with that.
I think you might only be saying that because we've actually seen it done in live action decently a couple of times now, right?
Yeah.
Like, if nobody ever tried and nobody made these that actually liked, the particular moves and the way these characters move and the costumes and stuff, it was really lame, then we might have kind of a Fantastic Four situation where people go, well, we've never seen this look good, so it can't look good.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to say it's okay. I actually can see that argument, but I'm going to say it makes just as much sense either direction. Mm-hmm. I do think flat 2D hand-drawn animation doesn't really capture what Mortal Kombat is, but it's fun to see it stylized that way. I mean, it's almost the same thing as doing if you did like flat Tekken or flat Virtua Fighter or something.
Yeah.
Because even though Mortal Kombat was a 2D fighter, it was pre-rendered. I don't even know if it was pre-rendered, but it was based on actual photography, and there were characters, or there were actors playing the characters in 2D video games, and so because of that, I think you're looking for a live action representation of it because those games wanted so badly to be live action.
Yeah, I mean they basically just were. So,
but I think good 3D animation could also capture that.
Yeah.
Especially given that after a certain point, once you get to 3D games, they're no longer trying to be photorealistic.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a Mortal Kombat movie a la like Spider-Verse or something.
Oh yeah, sure.
But I don't know.
So no, I actually, sorry, I had to talk this through a little bit. You have an argument for Mortal Kombat makes more sense in live action. I can see it both ways.
Yeah. And I didn't think Street Fighter would be good in live action, but that trailer looks good. Like it actually, like it at least looks okay. Obviously, like I don't know if that movie's gonna be any good or not, but I think they nailed what Street Fighter looks like. Even though that has had animated movies, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then of course, because I don't know if he's just talking about it visually or if he means that animes tend to just capture the spirit of a thing better because they'll go more full tilt and try to like fully adapt a thing typically. But I've not seen as much video game anime as I have adaptations of some other things.
You know what I really want to watch?
Yeah.
I really want to watch F-Zero GP Legend. That's the F-Zero anime.
I didn't know there was an F-Zero anime.
Yeah, and the video game tie-in for that is the greatest F-Zero game of all time, in my opinion. That's what got me into F-Zero. So I gotta finally watch that show.
Thomas Lowe, besides Carl Urban, I'm not excited about the rest of the cast. They pale in comparison to the original cast. And I'm sure he means from the 95 movie.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I feel like everybody's got like some real personality.
Yeah, definitely.
Like some are maybe cast a little bit better than others. I liked Kano better here because it was smaller doses, and I thought he actually had some funnier lines in this movie. Although I haven't seen the other one in so long, that's maybe not fair.
There's a really,
but I don't remember laughing that much with him in the first movie, and I did a few times.
I laughed a lot in the first movie with him. There's a really funny joke where like I think it's Raiden who like comes up to him and like grabs him by the shoulder, and he's like he like says something like super meaningful, and Kano just goes like, what the heck? But it replaced heck with the F word because this is the Captain Logan show, or how we felt about it, I guess. But yes,
earlier Braden kept talking about how Mortal Kombat is just already a thing without stakes because we're always resurrecting people in those games. But like I said, we could make the story focus more about that. We could find a way to. This is gonna sound so dumb. We could kind of try to find a way to make the lack of stakes like somehow the stakes, if that makes any sense. Where it's more about like how that affects people and like the price we pay for being able to be resurrected over and over again. Just come up. I guess what I mean is come up with a way to make that dramatic, as opposed to because we still play every death like it should be as weighty as if people weren't coming back, but everybody's coming back.
Right.
So like it's supposed to be so tragic when that guy's brother dies, but he just said he's going to find a way to resurrect him.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we're already at an hour. Let's go ahead and review our other movie.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, this first of all, this is gonna be a really weird one to talk about because you made the statement at the start, and I really like this, that the big thing these movies have in common is that neither of them is really a movie, and I never thought I'd see the day where I would be saying this, but Michael, even more so than Mortal Kombat 2. Even less of a movie than Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh my god.
It's absolutely nuts. And there's a couple of reasons for that.
Oh, there are so many reasons.
One of them is because this movie is just not all there. Like, there's a lot of stuff that was supposed to be here. The main, like, crux and thrust of it they were forced to take out of it. Are you aware that this movie was supposed to open in the 90s dealing with the assault allegations, and then they would jump back, and we were going to bookend with that, and we were going to catch up to it, and the whole third act was supposed to be about that, and like that was going to be the thrust and the crux of the entire narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a what's the word I'm looking for? There was a clause in the agreement with one of the accusers that nothing like this was allowed to talk about her, and all of a sudden they had to gut the whole thing. And at first I was like, could you not have found a way to, like, deal with the fact that there were accusers and just not name any of them? But I don't know how exactly they were dramatizing it. So if they made certain people characters that they weren't allowed to actually talk about and use, and, like, there's other real-life famous people that were supposed to be in the movie that they ultimately dropped out for various reasons. Like, sometimes because an actor just didn't really want their likeness to be used. So there's a whole lot of like people not wanting to cooperate with this movie or not really wanting this movie to exist, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to lead with this thing was massively compromised from, I don't want to say the start, but like this director had a cut. He had a full complete cut, and just before he turned it in, he was told he had to completely change that third act.
Wow.
And had to go in for reshoots. And so we're looking at a incomplete, massively compromised thing. And so and I knew that going in.
Yeah.
It was it devastated the project even more than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. It's... Oh, boy.
I just want to lead with that, because a lot of the criticisms I will lob at this, you got to know that ahead of time, because some of it is real hard to get around.
Yeah.
You almost have to do a page one rewrite and reshoot everything. And they just spent too much money on it to do that.
Right.
Or I say reshoot everything. I mean, you probably wouldn't have to do that, but you'd have to add a lot more. I mean, you'd have to shoot a lot more. You would have to change what the main focus is. Because of that, it doesn't really have one now.
It's really a tragedy. But anyway, so I mean, I don't know how much plot synopsis I need to give. It's Michael Jackson. If you know anything about Michael Jackson's life, which this is the big problem with this movie too, is with something like Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man, most people who are going to those movies might not know a lot about their childhood or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But with this movie, everybody knows the story of Michael Jackson.
Yep.
And so if you're making it super like baseline and two-dimensional, then it's just a lot easier for people to call it out. And obviously we can get more into that.
And yet it's performing.
Yeah.
It's doing huge numbers. Like I said, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes was huge compared to... So apparently a lot of people that aren't us are not minding how truncated and inaccurate it is.
Yeah.
And I always say that with historical fiction, with like dramatized historical pieces like this, if you're using what really happened as a blueprint to tell a great story and you fudge some things to get there, you make kind of a character out of the real person, and not everything that happens in it is exactly how it probably really went down, or you even make some like major kind of changes. If you told a great story, if it's a really good piece, it's easy for me to take it on that level.
Yeah.
Like a Saving Mr. Banks or something.
I love
which I get why some people really don't like that movie, because that woman is not characterized in that the way she is in real life, but it's a really well-told story. Right. And so we can have the debate about whether that's too sensational and like unfair to her, and we're not honoring this person correctly, all of that. But with a thing like this, you do have to have like a real clear story focus, and you've got to have clear reasons for taking those kinds of shortcuts. And then I also think it's a huge pill to swallow when it's somebody, as you said, this famous, where everyone knows the story. Mm-hmm. Something like Saving Mr. Banks, a lot of people don't know anything about the woman that wrote Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
I forget her name right off even. This was the problem for a lot of people with Bohemian Rhapsody, with the Queen biopic. And these things have a lot in common.
Yes, they do.
In the way that they're watered down, and that they're like too afraid to get into certain things.
Right, and that there are so many inaccuracies that
But
I
would make the case that even more than Freddie Mercury, you can't do it with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, his story is even more well-known.
Yeah.
I think Freddie Mercury is pretty close to in the camp that you should probably be a lot more careful. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and get into it.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's Michael Jackson. Starts in the late '60s.
When I say Winnie the Pooh, I meant Mary Poppins. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't even know why I said that.
I actually like heard you say Mary Poppins, but subconsciously I knew you said Winnie the Pooh.
I think I had that scene in my head where she's given the big Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And for some reason I said that, but yeah, I know it's Mary, but apologies.
Let's Go Fly a Kite is like that. makes me sad.
It gets me right here. Yeah,
Um,
I can't watch it the same way.
No, I can't
Ugh.
either. That last scene is so good. But anyway,
So good.
it really made me want.
It's both wrong and good.
I know. It really made me want a Tom Hanks Walt Disney biopic. I don't
Right?
know.
Yeah. And they would have watered that down too.
They would have.
But
he would have
probably
been so
great.
good.
Yeah. Anyway.
But this is the problem with biopics, is you have to take them at their own, like, I don't know. But anyway, so, quick story synopsis starts in the late 60s. His dad sucks, and he's, like, beating him, and, you know, he wants to keep the Jackson family together, and you get to the 70s, and, they say that Off the Wall is his first solo album, even though that was his 5th solo album, and then, but his dad still makes him tour with his brothers as the Jacksons, and then he makes Thriller, and then he finally beats his dad by the end, and that's the movie. There's lots of other things, but
Well, he means he finally stands up to his dad.
He finally stands up to his dad.
His dad beat him. He doesn't beat his dad.
No. Yeah.
That would have been an amazing scene, but that
would have been great.
That would be going. What, is that going too far for this movie?
No, it's not. Well, yeah, it actually is, because
is.
it would it would mean that Michael Jackson is doing something bad, and not doing bad. Sorry.
Yeah,
because I'm bad.
Because you think they make him too perfect.
Yeah, they totally do. Okay, so you did side flips first for Mortal Kombat.
You do side flip first for this. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the best thing. We're just gonna go super reverse order.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go with my best thing, and my best thing is the entire cast, like everybody. Nobody's bad. Bad. Come on. Especially Jafar Jackson. It's his first role ever. His first acting role. I don't know how he did it. Like, it's actually kind of insane.
And it hurts my feelings he doesn't have better material.
I know. I know, because he was...
They had everything but a script.
Yeah.
And again, I get that it's... people in the comments keep saying sanitized. Yeah, it is. And I can't help but think that it would have felt somewhat that way even if we had everything they left out, and even if the focus was there. Because just... something about the way we're characterizing him from the very beginning feels off to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I actually kind of like the first, 10 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the stuff with him as a kid, but also, I know, I have the problem with biopics where you do a whole person's life, and that just doesn't work. I don't think it
can.
It can, but it's very, very few of them do.
Yeah. No, you'd rather them pick a story in his life and tell that story. You'd rather it be something where there's an occasion for story and there's a resolution and it happens within a few weeks or a few months or a couple of years.
Which it seems like that was originally what it was kind of gonna be, where it would do the stuff leading up to it, but it would focus on the Neverland stuff.
But it gives you the background for it.
Yeah, but
even with the way they shoot a lot of the background, I'm not buying how and why this guy is as eccentric as he is. His childhood is not bad enough.
No, it's really not.
It just isn't. This needs to be a kid that feels like... you need to feel like he had no childhood. And that's why, as an adult, he seems like, kind of a child living in a man's body, and he's trying to recapture everything or try to get the childhood that he never had when he was growing up. It feels like the movie doesn't really get him, but a lot of people involved clearly do. It's such a weird. It
feels like
juxtaposition,
a thing put out by his family to try to make him look good.
And it feels like the thing you'd think that would have been made to make him look good
after he died.
Just after he died.
But instead they put out This Is It, which is really not that, and is better look into his life than this. And
And that's not me saying, of course, that I would want a movie that completely throws him under the bus. You want to see like, what's the matter?
Nothing.
You want to see like layers and sides to a person,
Right? And also,
like Rocket Man.
And-
I mean, you really
yes.
want the Michael Jackson Rocket Man.
yeah. And here's the thing: Michael Jackson was a very complicated person.
Very, yeah, of course.
And like, and he was the. I mean, he has the Batman thing, where he has his stage presence and he had his real self. But the problem is they only made him Batman.
That's it. No, that's the perfect way to put it. I said this yesterday after we saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they decided to make his public persona his private persona.
Yeah.
And so I'm not getting any insights into the man. And in fact, I feel like from, and this is going to sound pompous of me, but I feel like from interviews I've seen and like watching This Is It and, some of the things I've read, I feel like I understand this guy better than the movie does.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I shouldn't feel like that. I want to go into this with some insights. I'm only a casual, I can't even say really fan. I'm not a giant Michael Jackson fan. I find him, he was obviously an incredible talent. I find him really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. He has good music. And I would say I am a Michael Jackson fan.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what got you into dance.
Right. So I can't say that I'm not.
For folks that don't know, Jason's been a competitive dancer since he was like, what, 7?
5.
Were you competitive back then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you were in competitions all the way back at 5? I knew
Yeah.
you were, obviously, we took you to dance at 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so Jason's massively in that world, and Michael Jackson's what started all that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the clip from the 90s where it's this like promotional thing and he's talking about how much he hates touring, and then they're like no, Michael Jackson, you need to tone down all your stuff about not liking to tour. And he's like, but I hate touring, it's horrible. And then he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it for you. And then he goes, I love to tour. And everybody starts laughing, and he's like, no, I was getting into it. And I was like, okay, well, like, this is Michael Jackson.
And that's a big side to him that you're not getting in this at all.
No.
Like, he's too, like he seems too innocent. He seems too mousy.
Yeah.
He seems too afraid of confrontation.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously not a guy that always confronted people and liked confrontation, but you had to have an incredibly thick skin to deal with everything he had to deal with.
Definitely.
And paparazzi and stuff. This doesn't get into any of that.
No.
It simultaneously makes a huge deal out of how massively famous he is, and also makes it feel like he could probably walk into a grocery store. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get into any of that.
Yeah, I think my worst thing really is they spend so much time on all the fun stuff he did with animals, and he loves kids, but in a good way. And they spend so much time on him helping kids, which he did.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the main focus, right? Like, that should totally be in the movie, but that shouldn't be like the big thing is he donated to charity. Like, there should be other sides to him than just being a good person, which I don't know. Like, he's just very...
There's so much that nobody can fully understand about the man. This is one of the most difficult figures to make a biopic out of. Like, you want to get into his head, but how can you do that? But I feel like there's got to be a good story to tell with Michael Jackson when you're forced to avoid all the allegations and stuff. It would still feel bizarre to not, like, at all even mention it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's gotta be, and again, it's tough because they already shot the thing, and so, like, I'm just saying, in a perfect world where you could start back over and know that from the, I don't know how exactly they didn't know that.
Yeah.
But like to know from the start, okay, we're gonna make a Michael Jackson movie, but we can't deal with that. So do something that keeps him kind of mysterious to the audience, and still somehow gives us insights about the man, maybe through the perspective of somebody else. Maybe go look at the Fred Rogers documentary.
Yeah.
And do something like that where you've got an eyes-in character that's the real protagonist of the piece, and Michael Jackson is the focus for that guy.
Yeah.
But the story is really about him, because you really get to appreciate the character of Fred Rogers through somebody else's eyes.
Yeah, totally.
Who's, by the way, also Tom Hanks.
I know, Tom Hanks is just awesome. It's Tom Hanks and why am I blanking on his name? The guy from Rocket Man, who is also the lead in Tetris.
Yes.
And those are the two like biopic. Like they're so good.
His name is on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it either.
I usually can think of it because he's one of my favorite actors. But anyway, no, the big thing that like turned me off was when, and also you were talking about Michael Jackson, Taron Egerton. Thank you.
Thank you.
You were talking about Michael Jackson. You know, is a very like mysterious guy, but like don't go out and be like, I want to be mysterious.
He comes right out. He's like, I'm not going to do interviews. I'm going to be mysterious.
Like, no, he didn't say that.
There's a reason he had to be mysterious.
Right. And there's,
because he didn't feel like anybody could possibly understand him in the way he was raised, and they couldn't. He's right about that.
Yeah.
And he had to keep his guard up because everybody wanted a piece of him.
Yeah.
And because he was constantly being followed around and people were looking for like something terrible about him that they could put in the tabloids and stuff.
Yeah.
So like if you lived that life, you'd be pretty guarded too. But like none of that motivation is really made clear and is really there. And again, I'm not even buying like the animals and the obsession with Peter Pan and all of that, like just to set up Neverland.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe he walked around with a Peter Pan book from his childhood and was reading it all the time and set up Neverland because he personally identified with that and the Lost Boys and all. Like maybe.
Yeah.
But you gotta buy how horrible his childhood was.
Right.
And they're too afraid to really depict that. So we've got one obligatory scene with his dad using a belt. And then the thing is so scattershot that it's hard to even keep track of like how old he's supposed to be in any particular scene.
Yeah.
And so like as we're moving along, it's like we've got Jafar Jackson. It's a new actor. He's older, but it feels like the status quo is almost exactly the same.
Yeah. It is.
And so it's like he's still like living his childhood even though he's an adult now.
Yeah.
And just everything about it is weird.
And there's nothing about him like not liking fame, which is Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
That was the big thing that was missing from it.
Well, the other thing you complained about was that he doesn't get into his perfectionism.
Yeah. That's the other thing. So, remember I said this in the theater. They do the obligatory scene where they recreate a lot of stuff in this movie. Very obligatorily. Don't know if that's a word.
Yeah.
But they remake the 1983 Billie Jean, where he does the moonwalk for the first time. And in real life, he does the moonwalk and then he goes on his toes and then he like goes back down like really quickly. And he cried afterwards because he had just made the moonwalk, but he wasn't on his toes long enough, right? And so
like that's how much of a perfectionist
I say to you, if he doesn't cry, this is a bad movie. And he didn't, and he's just like, I should have stayed on my toes a bit longer there. I'm like, no, that's not what you would have been like. Now, I'm glad they put that in there.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a footnote.
He would have walked out.
I know, if it wasn't for this.
He was so pissed at that point.
I know, I was. There were. I want to get into all the imperfections after Seinfeld.
Yeah,
because that's my favorite part of this movie. Is it's great. So yeah. No. Not feeling it. I'm so sad about it too because the cast is so good. And you got
well, you wish you could just dismiss it out of hand.
I know, and you got the guy from Whiplash, and he's so good. And the guy playing his dad looks exactly like his dad. Not the guy from Whiplash.
And he's amazing.
And he's so good, and he looks exactly like him. Um, and he's very two-dimensional too. And his mother is so two-dimensional that she's not even at all like what his mother was like. And his real mother came to set. So I don't really understand that. But, like, his mother also was, like, pushing things on him and forcing stuff.
Like, pretty hard on the kids.
Pretty hard on, especially Michael Jackson. Like, she's the one who got him to do the Victory Tour. Like, it...
Yeah, I didn't know that.
In real life.
And that's not in there.
Nope. Because she's, like, advocating against it.
No, the movie is protecting her real hard.
It is. And it's kind of weird.
I mean, it's obviously protecting Michael Jackson real hard.
No, but especially since she's still alive and she came to set like one of the days. And so, like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I hate to say this, but, like, some of the real people involved were maybe not signing off on it unless they were portrayed in certain ways. Sure, I mean, I don't know that for sure.
That's fair, yeah.
But some of the things I've read make it sound like that.
Yeah. I'm
not trying to throw anybody under the bus. Like, I don't know some of this for sure, but everything about it just feels like puff peas.
Yeah. Definitely, that's just what it is.
At that point, make a documentary about how great Michael Jackson was.
Yeah.
And obviously you're going to get a lot of pushback from... I don't mean to stay on this too much, but but it's hard to avoid it. You're gonna get pushback from accusers and people that buy into all of the allegations and all of that. I'm not gonna weigh in on any of that. It's all like so hard to know for sure what happened with any of that. I'm not gonna get into that, but that still would be a better piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the director is known for documentaries, too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, this guy, Antoine Fuqua, is that how you pronounce his name? He made... And like, he's done a bunch of, like, thrillers. Like, he did the Equalizer movies, and like the remake of Magnificent Seven, which people really liked.
Yeah,
like he's like highly regarded. Mm-hmm. But he made the Hulu documentary series about the LA Lakers. He made the Muhammad Ali biopic. So like a Michael Jackson biopic documentary by this guy could be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You'd think a biopic would have been great.
You think? I think it would have. I actually think that original cut was okay.
But it probably still watered a lot of stuff down.
Probably still did, but it would have.
And I don't understand how John Logan is the guy. Like, John Logan wrote this? That's who you went to for the Michael Jackson? I don't understand that.
I love how you didn't know that until the credits.
His credit came up.
And you were like, oh god, I wouldn't have watched this movie.
I was being hyperbolic when I said that. I'm not the biggest John Logan fan. It's mostly just because of Nemesis, and that's not fair. Like,
man, I was going to say something, but I don't
sometimes
remember.
you just hire the wrong guy. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was a while ago. But yeah, I did my side flip, so.
Jayson, speaking of John Logan, this movie was like somebody adapted and I said this to you yesterday. It's like somebody decided to adapt the like junior 125-page biography written in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Or like the late 80s even. That's what this watched like to me. Not just inaccurate in like historical points, but just inaccurate in, again, like motivation and like why things are happening. The spirit of the character was just off to me, but you had an actor who was like fighting against the material. to like really embody the real person.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had this where I believed Michael Jackson, but I didn't believe the script that he
so
had.
weird.
I've never had that.
He disappeared into not Michael Jackson. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, like I've had the opposite before with like the Johnny Cash biopic with Joaquin Phoenix, and
Really?
and people love that movie. I think the script is really quite good.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the character on paper, but I just didn't really buy Joaquin Phoenix's performance.
I haven't seen that.
I felt like he was kind of miscast. He did his best. I get why people think he killed it. I just never really bought his performance. I never bought the casting. This is the absolute opposite of that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's like... Well, and also, he would have done... Like, I really think he would have done something more like the real Michael Jackson really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the most frustrating thing about this to me is how, like I said earlier, just completely unfocused and amorphous and all over the place it is. And some of that is really understandable because of how compromised the project got. And yet, there's gotta be a way, even just in editing, to make this more cohesive than it is. And when you decide what to reshoot, when you know you have to reshoot, I don't want to say you have all the time in the world, but this was a very, what am I trying to say? This movie was pushed back so hard already that you might as well do your best to get it as right as you can get it before you finally put the thing out, right?
Yeah,
like, I don't know, give it another 6 months or a year if you have to.
Yeah.
But like, it was already super delayed, and I couldn't deal with so the closest thing you have to a like real through line for this and a character arc is the father-son story.
Yeah.
Which is already in my mind kind of problematic. I don't mean that the way people mean it politically. I just mean narratively. It's not working to me. It's a problem. I'm off on the wrong foot with it in the first place because I'm not really buying the relationship and how Michael Jackson is responding to it with how kind of out of touch and living on another planet he's supposed to be. And even that I don't think goes far enough. I don't feel like he's out of touch enough. But, you know, like he's doing all these really eccentric things. But he's just laser focused on being like the most like popular musician that ever lived. And I'm like, there's more to this guy than that.
That's also... Yeah.
That gets into a place where it feels like you're kind of filling in for a formula where it's like rags to riches. It's like you have your and the rags to riches part happens very quickly with this, so it's not really that story, but it's like because that's just a footnote. Like, would you do that real quick? And so the idea with a lot of these kinds of stories is you've got a guy that doesn't think that's like afraid he'll never make it, or everyone's telling him that he won't, and then he gets huge, and then he gets too big for his britches, and he gets like too addicted to the power and fame, and he misuses it, and then he becomes self-destructive, and he spirals and all of that. And that's not exactly the Michael Jackson story. And so you're like, well, how do we fit it enough into that mold where people will follow it and it will feel like one of these kind of Oscar bait movies? You know, retroactively, this feels like the movie, like maybe even more so than the Queen movie, the Bohemian Rhapsody. This feels like the movie the Weird Al biopic was making fun of, even though it hadn't come out yet. Yeah. Like, go back and watch that Weird Al movie, and it's this.
Yeah.
Just, you know, a parody of this.
No, I feel like it's even more complicated than that. Like, there's more going on in the Weird Al biopic than in this movie.
Well, that's true, too. It's more cohesive as a piece.
You know, but also, that character is more problematic. Like, there's more going on with him.
Well, that's true. Like, you know what? That's not fair, because a lot of the joke with that is how... No, you're right. How much can we throw the character under the bus?
Yeah, and not
make him totally
Weird Al
self-destructive.
If he had made that after this movie, he might have made it where Weird Al is the best,
the greatest thing he did nothing wrong ever.
Yeah,
he's like, I salt of the earth, picture perfect, never did anything wrong. But anyway, So the father-son narrative works well enough as like a 15-minute short film where it's like his dad is pushing him too hard and doesn't really care about him so much as living vicariously through him and making his family rich. And he makes a big deal out of like it's all about family, which he just uses as a way to manipulate him. All of that was true, I'm sure. But then Michael Jackson keeps getting all these opportunities for change, all these opportunities to stand up to his father, and he doesn't take them. I want you to go on tour. I don't want to go on tour. Well, he goes on tour anyway. And then when you get to spoilers, and I'll go ahead and say full spoilers at this point because we want to talk about some spoiler stuff. You get to the end and. He has finally had it, and his father keeps moving the goalpost. He keeps doing the like just this last time thing, right? And he's like, we're gonna keep touring, even though he told Michael Jackson he could stop. And so Michael goes out on stage again, full spoilers, and he says to the audience, "This is gonna be our last tour as the Jackson 5 or as the Jacksons." And then his father is furious. And Michael Jackson has finally cut ties with his father, and like that's the arc.
Yeah.
And like that's okay, such as it is, I guess.
Yeah.
In the interim, we're just playing the greatest hits, both with the music and with historical events. We go, look, here's the Thriller. Here's the making of the Thriller video. Why is that there? Like, what is that doing for the narrative?
Literally nothing.
And then you get the scene with Mike Myers that I think is a pretty decent scene where he's on the phone like forcing MTV to play Michael Jackson's videos. We've got the obligatory like racial scene.
Yeah.
And like these are like some of this is real things that happen and important things to cover. I don't know what it has to do with the grander narrative. You know what I mean? Like the movie's not really been that much about race up to this point. And then all of a sudden you got this scene where Michael Jackson has this big speech where he's like, nobody's putting me in the back of the bus. And it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like I want a movie where it makes sense to tackle that and talk about it. They'll like talk about why MTV wasn't putting black artists on screen, and
yeah, definitely.
Like Michael Jackson being like a big proponent to finally change that and push it forward and all that. What does it have to do with the story we're telling?
It doesn't have anything.
It just didn't really have anything to do with that, and so you just get that over and over again. And then when you get to the end, because they have no third act, they just have no third act. So they try to treat the end of that character arc with his father. We've got a few super chats to treat that as the culmination of the events in just absolute desperation to make the movie feel like it has some sort of conclusion. And if you hadn't had so much stretched concert footage before that, because I think they feel like they're kind of ramping up to something with all of that, where it's like, maybe for someone that knows zilch at all about Michael Jackson, you'd be like, oh, maybe he's going to tour with his family forever. Like, is that what that's supposed to do? Where it's just like, it's ramping up. He's loving playing with his brothers. Look how great this is. And then, like, the other shoe drop. Oh my God, they're never going to tour again. Like, it doesn't work narratively because, that relationship has not been clearly enough the through for the whole movie up to that point. And B, because literally, or at least almost everybody watching is already going to know this. So it's really weird to play it like that. But then, if that was the last thing that happened, you'd maybe sort of have a movie.
Yeah.
And then we skip a few years ahead and we just do more concert footage.
Yep. Well, it's like the epilogue kind of thing. And I'll talk about that. But it's I don't know.
But that only works if it's a coda to a like complete cohesive whole.
Which it's not. Yeah.
And then, again, full spoilers, I had heard a lot of talk that they did something hilarious and crazy when they weren't able to use like anything about the allegations.
Yeah.
And they lost their third act.
Yeah.
They literally throw their hands in the air and go, we don't have a third act. We have to make a whole other movie.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They
It's
just
so
threw their and the movie's doing huge guns, which means we'll get it.
Yes.
And it's probably going to be a disaster.
I know, it's going to be so good. I'm so excited for this.
And so, if you've not seen it, literally, this is what they do. They put on screen. Well, I like the way you put it. Michael Jackson will return in Avengers Doomsday. They just go, his story will continue.
Yeah, his story continues. Yep.
Or his story continues.
And that was the one thing I knew about this movie going in, was the last frame of the movie is his story continues.
But isn't it so much funnier than context?
It's so much funnier in context.
Now, his story thing is deliberate because of that, like, big double disc set from the 80s that was from called...
the 90s.
Was it from the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
That was called History.
That
and
was a big tour.
It was a double entendre. It's His Story.
That was his last tour, was the History tour.
You know what I would have done? I would have used the cover of that album behind that text.
They didn't even do that. They didn't even put the history to get. They
No.
just said his story.
His story.
It's so.
Maybe they don't even know, but they have to know.
I don't. Oh. It's like they skimmed a book about Michael Jackson. It's not even that they adapted a book about Michael Jackson. It's like they skimmed
It's the Wikipedia page.
It's the Wikipedia page.
They had everything. They had the right director.
Yeah.
They have obviously massive production values. Everything looks authentic.
Yeah.
They had 100% of the cast is right.
And
yet I have to flip red.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a tragedy.
Well,
And this is a hard project, like I said. And it's really sad what they had to go through with it. I get that.
Yeah.
But all I can do is call it like I see it. It doesn't work.
Well, and all the thriller stuff does look really good and looks so close.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's there. But
it felt more superficial than Mortal Kombat somehow.
I know. Oh man. Yeah.
It's nuts.
In a minute,
I know people are loving it, so I'm sorry if you liked it. There's things in the moment to enjoy.
Definitely.
Obviously. It's fun to see some of this stuff recreated. But I almost wish and it's funny saying this after I'm I wish the Mortal Kombat movie wasn't just a whole bunch of fights in a row. Mm-hmm. But this would almost be more effective if it was just recreating moments and stringing them together. And I don't want that either.
Yeah. In a minute, I want to point out some just wrong things history-wise.
Okay, let me hit these super chats real quick.
Yeah.
Super Billy, $2 super chat. Going back to Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2 is an improvement over 2021, but not a major one. I disagree. I think it's a major improvement personally, but I think Jayson is more with you. Except he actually likes the first movie.
I like both way better than you, so I feel like that's...
No, but all I'm saying is, you probably agree with Super Billy that 2 is not that massive of an improvement over 1 because you like them both. And he's probably saying that because he didn't love them both.
Yeah.
Is my guess. He's still talking about Mortal Kombat. Let me read this real quick. $5 super chat. Thanks, man. Mortal Kombat 95 better establishes and develops its world, story, and characters, has better dialogue and acting, and is charmingly cheesy instead of cringeworthy.
I don't think the new movies are cringeworthy.
I thought the first one was, and that's why I thought the second was a big improvement, is I didn't have that with this.
Yeah, I didn't have that with the first movie.
And I would suggest anybody, regardless of what Jayson said about needing setup at the beginning, I disagree, and I would say anybody should watch 2 over 1 and not even bother with that first movie.
Yeah, just don't listen to me, even though
you can listen to Jayson, but
I disagree. But
I'm saying that would be my advice. We have different advice.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Never thought I would see a biopic sequel made. I was insane.
It's insane. It's
well, and I had that thought in the moment when we saw that Jayson, where I was like, are they just deciding, because they can't talk about any of the 90s stuff, that we have to just imagine the rest of it?
Yeah.
Or are they actually making one? Like, in the moment, I didn't know if that meant sequel.
No, that's
I had to look it up to make sure.
But I love how it has more sequel bait than Mortal Kombat 2. That's the best thing.
And that it's then going to have a sequel?
Yeah. Oh, man.
We're going to go back with a sequel, and we're going to be looking at this like Mortal Kombat 1 going, they made the setup film. Now, I'm kidding, because I have no idea what that movie is. If they can't talk about the stuff they wanted to make the whole movie about, what is that sequel?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it just a bunch of concerts?
Oh, I hope not.
You know what my worry is? And I said this to you already, too. My worry is they'll make the whole movie, or at least the whole third act, about the last days of his life. That they'll, like, dramatize the This Is It stuff, even though we have the footage of that. And that they'll then dramatize him in that hotel room with pills and in the doctor that was convicted of his death. Mm-hmm. And that, like, they'll dramatize all of that.
I mean, you know they will.
Just
like, that is totally something they would do. Yeah.
That would be very distasteful. I hope they don't do that.
Okay, so, let me think. So Off the Wall is his 5th solo album, and they make a huge point where they're like, oh, I'm releasing a solo album because F you, Dad. And that's just, he was making solo albums in the early 70s. Like, I don't like, when he was a kid. So I don't know what that was about.
Well, I guess you could, if you really want to stretch, you could say it's different because he's going to have to, like, move away from working with his brothers to do this, and so his father's making a big deal out of, like, well, as long as he's still doing his 9 to 5.
Right.
But I don't know what the difference would be between that and the records he made before.
Yeah. I don't know. And I also don't know exactly how the stuff with his dad went down when he started doing his solo stuff in real life. So I'm not sure. And then he gets the best thing in this movie. I've been making fun of this ever since we saw this. So he gets his pet CGI monkey,
and that took me out so hard. If it's got to be CG, don't even do anything with the monkey.
Yeah.
How hard is that to write around?
He gets it 5 years before the monkey was born, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like, what are they doing? I don't know.
And maybe this is true. I just don't
look anything like that monkey.
Maybe this is true, and I just don't know it. But, like, did he have all of those exotic pets when he still lived at his parents' house?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He at least had the monkey.
But, like, he had, like, giraffes and stuff.
Giraffe and stuff. I don't know that. Yeah. They say that Atari Adventure came out in 1983.
That's when the crash happened.
Yeah. Well, or at least they say that people are still buying Atari Adventure in 1983, and that they're still selling that in the store in 1983, which is just not true. So, yeah.
And again, if you had a really compelling story, this stuff is still irritating, but, like, not necessarily deal breaking. Although, again, when it's something this famous, when everybody knows it,
yeah,
I don't know that you give him the monkey 5 years, but, and, like, why? The thing is, what does it do for the story? If somehow that plot point was necessary to tell the story they told, but it doesn't have to do anything to do with anything.
And I don't like like, they spend way too much time on the animals.
Yeah,
they do. He did. But
well, there's a whole chapter about it in that junior biography.
Yeah, definitely.
That they based the film on.
Of course. No, there was like 2 or 3 chapters about it. Yeah, they spent like 10 minutes on that. I'm sure it's not that long, but it felt like it. Oh man, what was the other thing?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't have a problem with this, but I did.
Okay.
His dad is like, I'm putting you on this victory tour, and I'm also going to sign a deal with Pepsi. But they don't make it clear, because what actually happened is he does the Pepsi commercial in January of '84, and then they start touring in that fall. And they don't make it clear that that is way before the tour starts. And so I think that they're starting the tour, but no, they're making the Pepsi commercial. And I was just very confused by that. But I don't know, I just think it wasn't great.
I thought it was pretty clear early enough in that scene that it was supposed to be the commercial.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was very well written. I don't know.
I mean, I agree with that. But...
John Logan. And then the best another great inconsistency between real life and
no, Daniverse, we know Michael Jackson had a zoo. I'm just saying I didn't know if it was there when he was still with his parents.
Yeah, and I don't know, or if it was at Neverland. Because does he get Neverland Ranch in the 80s?
I think so.
I think
it's like late 80s.
Yeah. And then the best thing,
I'm not anything close to an expert with this stuff. I've casually looked into this stuff like a few years ago. I got on a little kick for maybe 3 or 4 days where I was listening to a lot of interviews and stuff.
But the best thing is at the end, where they just skip to 87, and he's doing bad, and he's just still black.
Did they kind of lighten the skin tone a little bit?
But
they play it like he's supposed to look so different. They make this big reveal, and it's like, oh man, now this is that era where he looks totally... He doesn't look that different.
He doesn't look different at all. I don't know.
It's like, are they too sensitive about like Jafar's look, or like
But then what are they going to do with the sequel?
Do they not want people to like make fun of him when like we all know that he's got this long period where his skin color is very light, and if you had never seen him in the 80s, you wouldn't even immediately know what ethnicity he was just looking at him. This should not be controversial to say.
No. But again, what are they gonna do in the sequel? Are they just gonna...
Is he just gonna have his normal skin tone and then people are gonna talk about it
that would be so good.
Can you imagine
CGI
if they had a scene where somebody was looking at that concert on a TV and then looks over to somebody else and like, do you remember when Michael Jackson was black? Like, can you imagine if they did that?
Oh man. Well, yeah. I don't know if I have a lot more to say about this movie.
Nicholas Bodo, why do I feel like a movie about the allegations would bomb? I mean, that's the thing, is... All I'm saying is they had a clear vision, whatever it was, and that vision got massively compromised. I'm with you. I was already a little bit nervous about what that would even look like and how you deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something bizarre.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this should have been the right director for this. I think he got saddled with not great material. Weird way, I almost feel like the perfect director for a Michael Jackson biopic is Tim Burton. Or at least Tim Burton at a certain period. And the reason I'm saying that is because, like a lot of his protagonists, including his Batman, that is a character that is antisocial, completely walled off from everyone, and you cannot protrude into his brain and get into his head. I don't actually want to see that, but...
I just think a Michael Jackson movie with an Elfman score is the funniest idea.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Pretty funny, I should say.
Oh.
Daniverse, what is it with these music biopic and Mike Myers cameos? Yeah, it's like obligatory at this point. You have to have it.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Oh, another thing is, I think they should have spent more time on the making of the music, and
That's what I was going to say.
Not
is
in the way that they did.
if you're not allowed to talk about some of the like character compromising stuff, and I don't just mean the allegations, but like it's like they weren't allowed to show any flaws from this character at all,
No.
or from this person at all, and everybody has them. It should have been about, like you said, the actual making of the music. But there's a story there.
Yeah, definitely, and not in the way that they did.
Somehow Rocket Man did both.
Yeah,
so Rocket Man
awesome.
was warts and all, and you got insight into how the sausage is made.
Yeah,
and anyway,
see, and you might think that this movie kind of does that with making the Thriller video and stuff, and they just don't. And like,
well, you didn't learn anything.
No, and like with the Beat It.
And again, what does it have to do with anything else in the movie?
He just like, yeah, with the Beat It, he just like he gives them choreography, and then he is like, you wanna hear the music, but like they didn't.
It looked like they were choreographing to music that they didn't even know. Or like they didn't even know what music they were gonna do. Almost like he himself had not decided what song it was gonna be yet.
Right. It was so weird. But the biggest problem that
and then you see him recording the song in a montage after he's already played it for them.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a montage with like slight flashbacks in the montage.
Yeah. I don't know. But the biggest thing, and I said this to you in the theater, is like stuff like Eddie Van Halen. That would have been an awesome person to put in this movie. Like obviously, maybe he just didn't want his likeness in the movie, but I don't know if you could like do that and. They have this throwaway line where it's like, that's some Van Halen stuff. I'm like, yep, it sure is. Because he played on that track.
It's like they don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or unless the idea was supposed to be... Who says that?
The producer guy. I think.
Well, then he would know who played on it. I was going to say, if it was somebody that was listening to it for the first time and didn't know who it was... then maybe the idea it could have been, like it's kind of, I mean not ironic, but like we're like the point is that is who did it, and that guy doesn't know that's who did it.
Yeah.
And so if you're in the know, you'd be like, oh haha, because that actually is him. But that's not how it played.
It might have been Miles Teller. I don't remember.
But maybe is it possible that was the idea?
Yeah. I think it was more just like he knows that it's him and he's just saying, "No, man, that's so Van Halen." But it's like just the way it's said, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
But like, and then like, do stuff with I'm sorry, it's late. I'm not thinking of people's names.
Yeah, we'll finish up here.
Do stuff with Quincy Jones. Thank you. Where Michael Jackson would like beatbox and like come up with a melody and then Quincy Jones would just like do it on the spot. And like that was like, I mean, he was awesome. And like they just don't get into any of that.
It feels so by the numbers in how it's handling the man's genius. Where it's like we've seen so many movies about geniuses, we just take it for granted that, well, of course it's a genius, or we wouldn't be making this movie. But like you want to really feel that in it,
right?
And again, I get that from the performance, but not from the writing.
Yeah, no, the performance is so
like,
good.
Get into, like how brilliant he is by seeing him do the thing, and not just on stage.
Yeah.
Like, the perfectionism is part of it. And that would be a way where you could really get into how flawed the guy was without getting into the controversial stuff that just nobody knows for sure.
Yeah.
Braden, there's too much money in the music industry for a movie like this to exist in an uncompromised state. I mean, maybe with Michael Jackson as big as he is and with the influence his family still has, but not everybody. You got it with Elton John. You got it with Ray Charles.
I didn't see the Ray Charles biopic.
It's wonderful. I've not seen it in a long time.
But I mean, there are a lot of people who don't want to. But also the thing with Elton John is, I feel like he was very self-aware.
He was instrumental to getting it made the way it was made.
Yeah.
He wanted it done that way.
Yeah.
He was really honest about his history, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Daniver, like he and that lead became like really good friends and email each other all the time. And, Daniverse, his mother was just presented as a typical inspirational mom.
Yep. Which is just not how that happened.
They were really afraid to make her look bad.
Yeah.
They seemed too afraid to even make the dad look too bad.
Yeah, they did.
And you might say, if you didn't know anything, oh well, obviously he's horrible. Yeah, in like watered down, like almost, I don't know, 90s kid friendly terms.
Yeah. Now I want a biopic on the Shags. That would be great.
And if memory serves, when I was a kid, and I should have looked this up because I don't know what this is called. I'm pretty sure this is a real thing. I remember watching this. When I was a kid, I'm pretty sure I saw a TV movie about the early days of the Jackson 5, and their father was portrayed like, I mean, like the whole thing was horrifying. It stuck with me.
Was it a documentary or was it?
I really think it was a dramatized TV movie.
Wow, interesting. I gotta try to like find this because like.
But I mean, I could be wrong because I've never looked back into that, looked that up. But like, it's like I'm remembering this from like when I was, I don't know, 10 or 11 or 12. Anyway, I should have looked that up so that Jason didn't have to do it while we were in the middle of making this video. Deanna vs. the Jackson 5, it's a TV movie. Apparently this does in fact exist. Deanna vs. I feel like with Elton John, he's more willing to be upfront about his demons, especially in his older age, which helped Rocket Man. Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, everybody's gonna be different about that, but
there are like maybe there are multiple things. Yeah, the Jacksons in American Dream. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay, there we go. Jason, what else do you want to mention about this before we bid everybody farewell?
Every time I think about it, it gets worse.
It's really sad, and like I said, I know people are really digging on it. Yeah. It feels a little emotionally manipulative to me. And I'm not calling anybody stupid. Like I can see it where you just get to kind of relive those. I think it's two things. I think it's if you're older and I'm psychoanalyzing people now. If you're older and you were there for the massive popularity of Michael Jackson, the movie might get you with some of those strategic, nostalgic moments.
Yeah.
And if you're younger and you don't know anything about that history, you might be taken in by how well the music is dancing are handled the same way everybody was at that time, and you might be sucked into it.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I've seen This Is It several times and in the theater, and I got more insight into the man's character from footage of him putting a concert together that never happened.
Yeah.
Than I did from this attempted dramatized thing about his history. But Michael Jackson as a historical figure feels like the Watchmen of biopics. Like, it does feel like the unfilmable biopic.
Yeah.
I do feel like you could have gotten closer than this did. Like, surely.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, Jason, I am glad we got to talk about them together.
Yeah.
I just never thought we'd live in a world where I liked a Mortal Kombat movie. More than a Michael Jackson
It's-
biopic.
Man,
It's wild.
wow.
Well, folks, thanks a lot for watching. We sure appreciate it. Jason and I will be back next Monday, probably with a regular Captain Logan show. We're going to have several of these this year where we'll do how we felt about movies in lieu of the Captain Logan show.
Yeah.
Because we're doing both of these shows on Monday nights. It's like a Captain Logan show.
Yeah.
It's just all movie review.
Yeah. Because why not? And then I should bring back a movie review for my segment. I should just like watch a random movie and then talk about it.
That'd be fun.
Just like some random movie.
And there are quite a few things coming out this year that we actually want to talk about.
Yeah.
This is the first year where I've actually got several movies I'm not just planning to talk about, but like I'm actually excited to talk about, or like excited to come out in various genres. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I was Captain Logan. This was Jason.
That was me. I'm still cosplaying as Sub-Zero.
Thanks for watching live if you've been here with us, and thanks for super chats from super chatters. See you later, folks. Bye, everybody.